The highest level in 8 years. That is what the latest read on American home prices shows. With more on what that means for the value of your home and your money, my markets panel is here. Michael Chadwick, Craig Smith. So, Michael, what does this home price hike say about housing? If people own and they could lock in a significant gain, should they sell?
They probably should. I don't think these gains are sustainable. The Fed achieved their goal of reflating asset prices, but to what end? If you notice, last week's data showed transactions were down 10%. So prices are up, transactions are down. Is it sustainable? I doubt it.
So, Craig, do you agree with Michael? It feels a little bit like Wile E. Coyote just before going over the cliff?
Yeah, it feels just like the winter of 2007, Deirdre. And it is a little bit frothy here when you see year over year up 5%, certain areas 11% in Denver, 1% in Chicago. I mean, I really don't think that there's a whole lot of room to the upside in housing here. Do I think it's going to fall apart? I suspect not, and everybody has to have a place to live, so I'm not sure I would agree with Michael that it's time to sell. But if you're an investor and you bought your property as an investment, it's probably a good time, unless it's causing you creating income for you. It's probably a good time to get rid of it.
Okay, so we're talking right now about one sector, but Michael, does this show something broader about the U.S. economy? Let's say housing does slow down, as you said, as possible. What does that mean for the economy and therefore the stock market?
Well, I mean, let's face it, housing is a major factor in the economy overall. When people are building housing, when construction's going on, it powers the economy on a lot of levels. So if that area cools off, the economy, by definition, cools off some. And right now, the economy is not wonderful. It's okay. And we still have a lot of artificial influences in the economy. They just raised rates for the first time in 9 years. We've got to see how that shuffles through to the broader economy and see how things respond. I'm cautious.
All right. You are cautious. Craig, it feels like you are the same. What if somebody gets a big Christmas check, a big holiday check? Is it time to put more money in the stock market, or do you see housing as an indicator and trouble ahead for the economy?
Well, it depends upon how big that check is, Deirdre. The only thing that bothers me is that during this 7-year recovery or 8-year recovery, if you want to call it a recovery, and I don't really think it's that great of a recovery, we've seen a massive increase in consumer debt, 36% increase in consumer debt, student loans, government debt. I mean, the increases of debt and the leveraging at the banks had me very concerned for the stock market in 2016. I mean, it was basically dead money in 2015. You maybe made 2% of your dividends in the stock market. Cash was dead, bonds were dead, commodities, you got killed. So I think going into 2016, you have to be very, very cautious. And I just, you know, personally, and I normally don't talk about this publicly, I am 100% out of the stock market for the first time ever in my investing career.
Okay, so Craig, that honestly does tell us something. If you as a professional are out of the stock market, there's also other more anecdotal kinds of data points, but they're there all the same. I read some research from Goldman Sachs that showed more millennials, despite what we're all being told about the labor market improving, are still living at home. There's been an increase of about 4 percentage points with more millennials basically just camping out in their parents' basements. Michael, does that contribute, or do you say, okay, that's just one group of people?
Well, you know, the basement thing is funny. We're back to multifamily housing, right? Back in the 60s and 70s, people lived on 3 floors. First family, second family, third family. Today, we've got kids living in a basement. So it might look different. It might be on a 2-acre lot with a lush lawn, but we're back to multifamily housing. And you know what? Despite those statistics, that's a smart way to live, because the house is not the big investment that everyone wants you to think it is. If you live in a single-family home, you're not making a lot of money on that home. If you're renting out a multi, you're making some money. Investment property makes you money. The homes we live in are not big money makers.